Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to King Arthur Legends Rise. Big shout out to them for sponsoring this video. If you want to check the game out and support me in the process, you can click the link down below and get rolling. Let's talk about Gorgos today. I've told you this is a pretty important dungeon for you very early in the game, in conjunction with Pinveed, which we talked about in the last video. So I want to, in a similar fashion, show you how to build a team to make progress in here, because it is so important. The gold crunch in this game is aggressive, and you're gonna need to be in here. Some games have a gold dungeon, and it doesn't tend to feel worth it or necessary. It is very necessary in this game that you have a good Gorgos team. You will be farming it a lot, all right? So let's talk about a good, free-to-play, approachable, easy-to-obtain team for it, all right? Very quickly, I'll run you through some of the same stuff that we talked about in the Pinveed video. You can click the eye here and get a little bit of information about the dungeon, and then all of these different tabs show you who can fill these roles for you. Sometimes you'll have a Gorgos Slayer or like a name of boss Slayer, and if you have any of them, it's almost mandatory you get them on the team. It means they're very, very good in the dungeon, okay? So I don't have Lancelot, which is unfortunate. If you have Lancelot, you can probably get away with not using Anguish. But again, we're leaning into approachable, what you're likely to have early on, free-to-play friendly. So we're going to talk about Anguish. However, if you do some early summons and get Lancelot, he can be in Anguish's spot for this dungeon, okay? Merlin also is good everywhere, so you'll probably see him in every one of these tabs that you ever click ever, because Merlin is so busted in this game, apparently. So, as far as the boss himself, you can click here, get details about what he does. Basically, this is a dot dungeon. You are not going to be doing much impact damage to this boss. You're going to need to land dots. That's how you're going to kill him. And you're also going to need to be able to manage dots on your own team, because he's putting them on you. And once he starts putting them on you, it gets tough. It gets really hard to survive, because it's just damage based on your HP, right? And so you can't defense your way out of that. You can't HP or defense your way out of that. So you're going to need to be able to manage the dots. So I'm going to show you, again, a very easy way to do that. Let's just jump into like stage 5 or something. This is the team. This is the free-to-play, again, very obtainable team. This guy you might not have right away, but I think on day like 13 in the login calendar, you'll get a copy of him. So if you don't look up and get a copy of him from summons before that, you will get him on day 13, and your life is going to get a lot easier, because he's, as far as rares are concerned, he's the guy. He's the guy for this dungeon if you don't have Lancelot, basically. If you have Lancelot, then you can ignore all this and just apply everything I'm saying about this guy to Lancelot. So Anguish is MVP for you. Isolde is going to be one of the healers that we're going to bring. She's excellent because she also does dot damage. So she can contribute a little bit to the damage as the fight goes on. This is an uncommon named Jarrett. He's like weirdly my favorite champ in the game. I'm just such a fan of this guy. And we'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. And then this is Clementine. You've also heard me mention her. She's my favorite healer in the game. As far as who the second healer can be, it doesn't have to be Clementine. Sarah is another really good option. That's her. And then Turin, who I haven't built yet, but I've heard good things about, is also good. So just the second healer, doesn't have to be Clementine, all right? But this is the team that you're going to be running in here. So Anguish is going to be doing dots for you. Isolde is going to be healing and doing dots. And Jarrett is going to be our dot management for our team. And then Clementine is also doing some heals. All right. So let's jump in real quick and do the fight. And then we'll go and talk about what everybody's contributing specifically and talk very briefly about gear. Okay. So we'll hit start battle. We'll make sure we're targeting the boss, right? We want to click his picture and get those blue lines. And then skill order settings for this team. We have Anguish prioritizing the A3 followed by the A1. We don't really care for him to A2. If we want him to either A3 or charge Vigor with his A1. Clementine, we're prioritizing her heal followed by her A1. Isolde, we are prioritizing her A1 because we have chivalry in her, and we'll talk about that when we go talk about her specifically on her actual screen. If you don't have chivalry 1 in her, you're probably going to want to prioritize her A2, all right? And then for Jarrett, we're just going to use the A1. Now, earlier on, you may want to do A2 into A1, but at a certain point you can pivot him and just go straight A1, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. This is just what I would recommend. Either this, or if no chivalry run on Isolde, this, maybe something like that, okay? Play around with these two and see what ends up working for you, but this is what works for us right now. So now what we're doing is, let's slow it down a little bit so we can talk about things as they happen. You see, these are chills. There are elemental dots in this game. So the hand is a chill, all right? So Anguish does chills. These are burns. These are the fire dot. And then a bleed will look like a little wound with blood dripping, okay? So he's putting up chills with his A3. He's got a 50% chance to do it, so it's a little bit of a coin flip. Once you get him skilled up, it'll go to 75% chance, but skill ups are kind of hard in this game. It's going to be a while before we get him skilled all the way up. So he's putting up dots, ideally every turn. Ideally every turn, he's got 3 vigor to flip the coin and put up dots. And the more times you flip that coin in your favor, the quicker this run's going to be. Isolde is using her A1, so she's occasionally throwing up a chill as well, and she's passively healing the ally with the lowest HP with her A1 because she has Chivalry 1. If you don't have that, she won't passively heal, and that's why you might want to turn on her A2 as well. Jarrett has a passive where when he gets 2 dots put on him, he removes dots from the whole team, which is so good for an uncommon to be doing something like that. So him just being present and alive is enough, and that's why we can use his A1, okay? That's why we don't have to worry about using any of his other skills, because him just being present, he's doing his job, all right? And then Clementine is just healing us, right? She's healing with the A2. If she has to use her A1, she's also passively healing the ally with the lowest HP. So that's what the run will look like, okay? Let's go talk about the champs in a little bit more detail and talk briefly about an approach to gearing them. So we have Anguish, who, again, if we go to his relic, his A3, attacks one enemy 5 times with pretty good attack damage, but again, that doesn't matter for this dungeon. 50% chance for the last 3 hits to inflict chill. So best case scenario, he puts up 3 chills with this skill. Again, once you get him skilled up, it goes up to 75%, but skill ups are tough. It's going to be a while before that happens, so for a while, you're just going to be flipping the coin, and that's going to be the way that it goes. If he doesn't have the A3, he'll A1. It's also a coin flip for a chill, okay? As far as gear is concerned, I have him in life sets because, again, I'm not building him to do impact damage. I'm building him to do dot damage. So I want him to be able to stay alive for as long as possible, and I want him to land his debuffs. So you could go life sets, accuracy set, speed set, things of that nature, okay? If you have a vigor set, you can almost justify putting it on anyone. Vigor sets are very good in this game. They charge an extra vigor at the beginning of a turn, which enables your team to continue to use their more powerful skills more regularly, all right? So you could justify putting it on everybody if you've got it, but it's kind of hard to come by, so you want to be a little bit mindful of where it's going. But that's it for him, okay? Nothing too crazy going on there. Clementine, we've talked a little bit about before. Life sets or a heal set and a life set, and if you can get HP percentage all the way down over here, I would take it. Also, if you get a chance to put recovery percentage, you could go for that as well, because that will boost her ability to heal. Just get her HP as high as you can get it, and she'll do her job, okay? Isolde, kind of a similar thing. I guess you would want to consider accuracy on her a little bit as you progress, but earlier in the game, it's not really necessary. Same, life sets, heal set, HP percentage, and recovery. The higher, the better on her. Again, quick note, her chivalry. If you have her chivalry 1, she'll use her skill 1 heal, and it will passively heal. I'm sorry, she'll use her skill 1, and it will passively heal by 7% of her max HP plus 150, which, if we consider the fact that her A2 is 3.8%, it's a better heal. The difference is it's not AoE, so it's really ideal. She is well worth Chivalry 1, even if you don't have dupes of her, but you have the tokens available to you. So if you don't have 2 copies of her, but you do have 30 of these, I think you could justify giving her 30 of those for her Chivalry 1, okay? It's really nice to have. and being able to just have her A1 every time so that she potentially chills and heals whoever's in the most danger. Very, very handy, okay? And then the homie Jarrett, who I fully intend to fully max before it's all said and done. I really, really like this guy. Where is it? Where is his passive here? When inflicted with dot, gain effect accuracy increase 1 for the rest of the battle. If you have 2 or more effect accuracy increase, removes all buffs from himself, recharges all allies' attack gauge by 40%, and removes all dots from all allies. Okay? So every time he gets hit with a dot, he gets effect accuracy increase. If he gets hit with a second dot, he'll get a second effect accuracy increase added, and then this will trigger. Okay? And you see there's no cooldown. It is insane. It's actually insane that an uncommon is doing something like this. Without him on the team, you are gonna struggle to manage those dots unless you've got somebody that can block them. Unless there's a legendary that you have that will like block them or cleanse them more effectively. He is such a cheap and easy investment to put on this team and just be present. Also, the fact that you can just lock him out and have him A1 to charge Vigor is very helpful. And I think he's an excellent candidate for a Vigor set because that's just extra Vigor he's charging. He's basically ensuring we get to do whatever we want for the whole fight, okay? I haven't even come in here and put keepsakes on this guy. I forgot I advanced him further recently. So I highly recommend that if you can get your hands on a Vigor set, get it on him, and then just tank him up, right? Just you know, he doesn't really need anything except to be present. So just tank him up. He doesn't have to be fast. He doesn't have to be accurate. He doesn't have to be anything but there. It's so cool. I really like this champ. So get him in a Vigor set if you can. If you can't early on, life set, defense set, just whatever can tank him up and keep him alive, okay? But yeah, super cool champ. Big fan of this guy. I will fully max him before it's all said and done. I gotta get some keepsakes on him as well. So anyway, that's it. That's a team you can invest in for Gorgos. Again, basically the only adjustment I would really give you is if you have Lancelot, put him in Anguish's spot. Other than that, everything else still applies. I think the double healer is a good way to go. I think Jarrett being on the team is insanely beneficial and very easy to build and accomplish and make happen. And you see, I'm this close to a stage 9 clear with the same team. This probably will be my stage 10 team when it's all said and done. I just have to continue to scale them all up. And the big kicker is him, the coin flip of whether or not he lands chills. In the later stages, it's a lot more dangerous when he misses because the longer the fight goes on, the harder we struggle to manage it. So that's really it. But in the earlier stages, he is more than sufficient. So hopefully that helps you get through. And now you've got a video for each of the 2 very important early game dungeons. And perhaps in future videos, we'll talk a little bit about these because these are where things start to get a little bit more complicated and harder to approach. So we'll wrap this one up here. Big shout out to King Arthur for sponsoring this video. It is really cool working with him. If you want to check the game out, there will be a link down below and you can support your boy in the process. Other than that, I'm getting out of here. I hope it was helpful. Appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you in the next one.